words for Cheshire Cat down here, buddy. I was very familiar with the milestones that babies are supposed to reach by certain points. You know, they're supposed to crawl by a certain point. They're supposed to start babbling by a certain point. And because my first child was a real talker, he was talking up a storm at 10 months old. When Jacob was 1 year old and he didn't have any words at all, I became very concerned.
And the autistic child as well, yeah, they love cars, and what they really love to do is line them all up. And then a question would be, and if you move one of them, is that fine? It's, oh no, oh no. No, they're lined up, and this is the way they are, and it causes great distress if somebody messes with that.
He was stacking soup cans, and all the labels were the same direction. None of them were upside down. They were 8 cans high, and they looked great. And so as a dad, jokingly, I kind of turned a label on him while he wasn't looking, and he would, you know, almost stumble and fall and go back and fix it. And so we're like, oh, that's great. He's going to be an engineer. And it turned out that that was a classic sign of autism.
Match. Which one's 3/3? Fantastic. We got another token. We're getting close.
Rockbridge Family Services was instrumental in helping to bring BRAC to Rockbridge County. It was through the board of directors that we started searching for a church, and Rockbridge Family Services has donated a lot of money and resources.
So we started as Rockbridge Family Services working with the president of BRAC, and we said, we want to bring a satellite up here. She said, well, if you can do it, you need an inspector from the Virginia Department of Education. I said, I got it. And we started laying the groundwork. We found a church that volunteered their campus as a school. We had the VDOE come in and do an inspection, and that was January we started, August 19th of last year. January we started last year, August 19th we opened. So that's, and now Patty's the director of that.
Make a graph.
The village.
The kids are really great too. I mean, there's days that there's a lot of screaming and you're sometimes like, oh my goodness, why do I do this? But the next day you usually remember why you do it, because, you know, you see something good happen.
Jacob, touch 2 cities that grew after the Civil War.
Roanoke.
And?
Alexandria.
Fantastic.
His language developed, his reading developed, his math. We really began to see what Jacob's capabilities were because of the intensity of the learning environment.
Jacob, ready? Handstand. Touch 10. That one is 10.
Look at that. I really want to grow and grow.
Very good reading.
We look for things that they're willing to work for. And for some, it might be a food item. For some, it might be to play outside, to swing on a swing, to jump on a trampoline, whatever it is that motivates that student. So in Jacob's case, Jacob likes to draw. He likes to draw, he likes to play on the computer, and he is willing to work hard for a period of time, knowing that at the end of that work period, he's going to get to, you know, draw. So that's very reinforcing for him.
Ursula, yes or no? Oh.
His token board is right here. It used to be attached to this wallet. He picked it off, but it used to be glued on like that. He has to earn 10 tokens to get our break or our reward, and it's sort of set up to teach him money as well, like 10 cents, and then eventually it's $1. And part of Jacob is he struggles with some OCD behaviors, and so sometimes he's OCD about like heads or tails, and like he just has to get over it. We just give him what we give him. But yeah, it's a good tool. Almost all the kids here have token boards to earn privileges, and it makes him realize that he's not going to be sitting here forever. As soon as he earns 10 tokens, he can have a break.
Touch something next to the girl. Next to her. Yeah, the seagull. Look, you got all your tokens. What are we going to get now? Some more paper?
Some more papers.
Okay, let's go.
Remember, when you've seen one autistic child, you've only seen one autistic child. They are so different. Which means every approach is different, which means every method of every single behavior is different within the child. I say that to say that if you don't take an eclectic approach, you're going to be wary.
Swing. Swing. Nice trying. He doesn't have the language that all the other kids would have, but I feel like it's easier to work with him, even though, you know, he doesn't talk. I mean, he can point, he can, you know, sign some things, and we've taught him all that, and it's just, he's come so far.
Good, Tyler. Good. That's great. Point to 2. Yay, Tyler! That was wonderful! That's so good. That's good. Point to 2.
Now he is signing over 30 words. He was not able to communicate with his parents at all. He would point or drag them. He's now being able to sign and tell them what he wants, tell him no if he doesn't want something. His verbal language has also come around a bit. He has a couple of verbal words, which he didn't have before as well.
Pink. Pink. Candy. Pink candy. He has lots of signs. He has signs for all of his colors, which are here. And he has signs for items, which are mainly these up here. And then he also has requesting attention for others, and that would be the help. And he has move and open.
All through the town. Very good. Look, you got all your tokens. Pretzel. Here you go, bud.
There's a spectrum for Down syndrome and for autism, and with Down syndrome, he's extremely mild. He's actually right at the cusp of mental retardation, whether he's very much on key with what another 6-year-old would know, but having autism coupled with that was devastating.
The symptoms of autism could certainly be present with any other kind of medical disease or genetic syndrome. And then I think you get into kind of a gray area where, you know, is autism the primary diagnosis, or is this a primary genetic diagnosis of another kind?
Are we working for pretzel? Look, 5. Ooh, what letter? 5. What letter? N. Very good. What letter? N. What letter?
You can take him out of that.
What letter? N. There you go. We need 2 more tokens.
He's really really good with labeling objects, so if you ask him what is it, he can answer it, but is weaker in the areas of like receptives with touching, but he's improved tremendously in that. He knows all of his letters now, upper and lowercase, which he didn't know before.
Was assaulted by an occupational therapist.
And that opened the door
Yes.
to go try something different.
Yeah, because he suffered post-traumatic stress, and the school system had done a lot with him. He had made great progress, but he regressed
It set him back. And he was
extremely badly, stopped wanting to go to school, and we heard about BRAC from his case manager. We went and visited, walked through. As soon as we got back in the car, we said, this is what we want.
One of the challenges of being in the public school system is that with full inclusion, you have a child with a very severe disability, and they're in a classroom with 20 students, and they're not able to, they don't learn well in that environment, and they're not able to communicate that need, so they often act out in behaviors.
Once you kind of describe what you think their needs are, then I think the challenge is to look at those needs, overlap it with what's available in your area, and creatively patch something together, knowing that nothing will be 100% perfect.
I would like to see him be able to reintegrate into the public school system, hold a job someday,
Yes.
have a girlfriend, maybe live in a, on his own in an apartment or a group home, something like that. But at this point, we have no way of knowing. We have to shoot for the moon and just see where we go.
Yeah, you just can't say, well, he's not going to be able to do this, he's not going to be able to do that. You got to say, well, he can.
He can.
Or, at least have hope that he can.
If you take an individual with ID, intellectual disability, and you teach him how to wipe a table, he's pretty good. Second or third go around, he knows how to do it. But you take an individual with autism, and you got to do it 5, 6, 7, 15, 20 times. So you need that one-on-one therapy, and that's where ABA comes in. So our focus is to get them integrated. It would pain me that the only thing that we could do with an adult with autism is to put him in a house and forget him.
I am open to the idea of him living with me for the rest of his life, but at the same time, if at some point he wants to be in a different living situation, if he wants to be in a situation where he might have a roommate and somebody supervising them, I would definitely be open to that too. I want him to be happy. I want him to have the kind of happiness that we all have the potential to experience.